But I know it, Maitlin-Harris, Maitlin-Harris. Please welcome Claudia Maittlen-Harris, right? Maitlin-Harris. Welcome, Claudia. Yay. That's okay.
So I was a freshman in my high school health class, and it was a total required blow-off stupid class taught by the assistant football coach. Totally imagine the varsity blues stereotype, kind of bigoted, offensive coach, and you'd be right. And I was sort of used to ignoring his tirades, but one day it changed. And it started on homosexuality and how it was wrong. And then it went to gays started AIDS, they should be shipped off to an island and left to die. And then actually he stated, I would never go near one because you can get AIDS from shaking hands with a faggot. And he was teaching health. And I kind of couldn't process this in class. I was just so shocked and so upset because it had been less than a year since we'd lost David. And he was like an uncle to me. And we didn't know he was dying of AIDS. And he died alone. And it was a very hard time. And I didn't know how to fight this. But I couldn't handle what he'd said. And I knew who could help me, my mom. So I went home, and she was not having any of it. And so called school immediately to get me out of that class. And we had a new principal who denied the request and was like, no questions asked. Oh, hell no. So there was a meeting set. Principal Dr. Smoot, my mother, and myself. I should say that I don't have a regular mother. I call her Mummy. We're Australian. And she's a force of nature. She's 5'11", barefoot, red, sort of Charlie's Angels, Jacqueline Smith-style hair when I was growing up. She is glamorous. She is confident, overly so. And I often say it's like Joan Collins from Dynasty sort of meets Auntie Mame. I know it's an old reference, but that's Mummy. And she believes in an entrance, and I'm waiting outside the principal's office, and she shows up, and she'll never get, she was like in this teal suit with a giant snow leopard brooch. She was in 4-inch heels. I mean, she was like 6'3", but as Mummy says, I will take any opportunity to tower over a man. And she walks in, and we sit down with Dr. Smoot, who starts with, you know, we've talked to Coach, and he knows to curb his opinions, and we think we can just move on from this. At which point I was like, you're not distancing yourself from this. You're not condemning this. You're not even disagreeing with him. But Mummy was silent and said, that's unacceptable. Dramatic pause. And then she went off. And it was that he was reprehensible, that he was morally and professionally irresponsible, and he shouldn't be allowed in a school, and he was a liability to the school. And then she said, and he shouldn't be near students to teach anything that doesn't require a ball. But feel that with way more condescension. And I was like, go, Mommy, go, Mommy. And Dr. Smoot wasn't having it. And he was like, I go to church with Coach Thomas. Bleh. And he's like, he's a good, God-fearing man. And I'm just like, that's not an argument. And it's going back and forth. And then Dr. Smoot turns to me, and he's like, well, we haven't heard from Claudia, so why don't you step outside, and I can get your daughter's opinion. And I'm thinking, well, that wasn't a good move to make to my mother. This doesn't work well. And she's like, you want me to leave my daughter alone with you? A 14-year-old impressionable minor alone in your office? And like, I was even like, oh, gross. We just went to like a pedophilia innuendo. Like, what is happening? And Smoot's like, starting to freak out. No. I just wanted to get her opinion without your influence. And she's like, what child does not need her mother's influence? And I'm like, we're gonna win. This is down. Like, I'm just inside like, go. And then he was pissed now. And he was like, I don't approve students cherry-picking students to their liking. And I think we were resolved here. And I was like, it's over. Like, when you're 14, you kind of think, like, I go to bat for what's right, and you win. And I was like, and I had to go back to the classroom with sexist, homophobic pig, knowing I'd kind of tattled on him. But I had not realized that it takes a lot to beat Mummy. And she said, well, first of all, I think I'll talk to Billy Hall, he'll be very fascinated with this. Billy Hall was the superintendent of all schools, and I don't think she knew him. But she continued and then said, and then I will call Judy down at, is it Channel 7, Claudia? Channel 7 KLTV? Yes, let's call Judy. I think this will make a great story. And I'm like, also, our local newswoman, Judy, Mummy knows, on a first-hand basis? What? And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, and Mummy stands up to her full height. And I'm like, oh, we're getting up. All right, we're doing this. And I stand with her, because at this point, I'm back up. And Dr. Smoot is starting to like shut this down. I'm like, we don't have to handle it that way, and we've discussed this. And she was like, and you should know, I make great television. And walked. And I was like, I think my mom needs a slow clap out of this one. Like, I wanted to drop the mic. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I went back to class, and like the very next period, I got a letter from the office saying I was being moved to Dr. Kane's health class immediately. And it was a small battle, but it was a worthy one. And it was just like, I kind of got to experience my mom being a badass. And you don't often feel that way about your parents when you're 14 years old. And as I get older, and I don't have kids yet, but I have almost all of her height, and I have her love of high heels, but I can only hope I have her strength. But when in doubt, I did learn a little blackmail is really, really effective. Thank you.